Thanks for tuning back in. I'm Tommy Campbell, still bald, still in my basement, and this week has already been great fun since the married bachelor is suffering through testimonies while the right-wing media and sausage-fingered Republicans scramble to squish the orange toothpaste back in the tube. It ain't working. The last 2 days was a departure from Trump's snores and farts, since David Pecker had a lot to say that the defeated former president wasn't going to want to snooze through. Pecker testified about his decades-long Trump relationship, treating the jury to a wildly incriminating timeline that he was kind of proud of. I'll be getting into Trump's claims about the police and supporters getting destroyed with some cell phone video and basic searches, because nothing this man says is remotely true. I have a laugh with some takeaways from David Pecker's testimony, his history of dealings with Michael Cohen, and for further analysis of the situation, Mitch McConnell returns to the Tommy Campbell Show for his thoughts on Trump's case, Karen McDougal, the courtroom, and more. But first, this.
But the guy needs exercise. He's usually golfing. And so you're going to put a man who's almost 80 sitting in a room like this on his butt for all that time? It's not healthy. You know how big of a health nut I am. He needs sunlight, and he needs activity. He needs to be walking around. He needs action. It's really cruel and unusual punishment to make a man do that, and anytime he moves, they threaten to throw him in prison.
Does Jesse Waters think there are only 8 hours in a day? Trump has plenty of time to jog Central Park or hit the gym for some CrossFit after the doors crack open and everyone scrambles for air that doesn't smell like rancid ham, hot diapers, and hair dye. It is amazing that they spent years trying to paint Trump up to be a tough guy, and now they're having a meltdown about him not being able to handle a few hours in a chair like everyone else that's in the courtroom. Trump needs sunlight. He's almost 80. To be fair, Trump did show us how much he needed sunlight by raw dogging the eclipse. You can only get it through your eyes. He needs sunlight. Did these people hear themselves? He's not a fern. And you know what? The guy keeps showing up with mystery bandages covering up all the solar sores. Maybe a bit of inside time isn't a bad thing for the sweet potato-headed dingleberry. It is pouring MAGA tears. I played in 35 countries for over 2 decades, but most days you'll find me here. Thanks for taking in this bald comedian's take on things. Please join the best subscribers on YouTube while I blast the latest and stupid and more. David Pecker, who has a face as strangely entertaining as his name, a bit Geraldo going on there, dropped a major testimony regarding his relationship with Donald Trump. He worked as a consultant with AMI, the publisher behind the glossy magazine, to see at the checkout and wonder, who actually buys those? Well, AMI is in the business of paying large amounts of money for exclusive rights to material for newspaper stories, especially personal ones. This is called checkbook journalism. Pecker and Trump's decades-long friendship included Trump giving Pecker a heads up on who was leaving The Apprentice that week so his publications could have the story first. Pecker went on to explain how the frequency of their conversations were once a month until Trump decided to run for president, and then he became a regular at Trump Tower, and he was even invited to the campaign announcement. He talked of his long history with Michael Cohen, whom he first met in 2007, and became someone who spoke to almost every day during the Trump campaign. Pecker went on to mention an August 2015 Trump Tower meeting with Hope Hicks, a former swimsuit model, one of the many Melania doesn't like me so I need a stunt double around hires, and also in attendance was Michael Cohen, who will be taking the stand in the coming weeks, and that should have Trump filling his diapers. That meeting was super important, and it was interesting because Pecker offered his services. They wanted to know which magazines could help the campaign, and he said he'd be their eyes and ears. This was his business, and if there were rumblings out there, it would hit his channels first, and he could tip them off for Cohen to purchase the stories. This is the catch and kill thing you're now hearing about. Now, it's important to note that this was new. This was not a regular business model. He wanted to get a story sold everywhere, and now he was going to pay them to make a story go away. Regarding this, Pecker explained in court that at the time, Trump was known as the most eligible bachelor. I mean, this is at the time he was married to Melania. I mean, this is just bizarre. For someone that came to the USA on a genius visa, she wasn't clever enough to see all the red flags protruding from his ooze. The conservative media are doing their best to push the narrative that police have shut down the streets around the courthouse for blocks and that supporters can't be here. This has been pushed by Fox, fringe networks, and Trump himself.
And again, what's going on is a disgrace. Now, it's interesting outside for great Americans, people that want to come down and they want to protest at the court. and they want to protest peacefully. We have more police presence here than anyone's ever seen. For blocks, you can't get near this courthouse.
But Vaughn Hilliard decimates this argument, showing just what the situation is right outside the court. You have pedestrians, you have a truck coming through, and there's a regular car behind it. Ooh, pedestrians are just everywhere. Oh, there you go, here comes the car. More pedestrians. It's not shut down. He noted, this is just not true. There is one pro-Trump person here, and the main street along the courthouse is open to traffic. I was curious, so I had to look on Waze, and it only shows police, just a little police guy that you look out for, and no road closure, graphics, or congestion. That's it. Trump and the right-wing media want you to believe that it's impossible to show your support for Diaper Dawn because it's a lockdown, but this just isn't true. Either they don't care, or he scared them off. Don't come here. And now for his take on the latest in the Trump trial, please welcome back to the show, Mitch McConnell.
You can go by the combined super name I created in solidarity with my wife. So out of respect for the two of us, please refer to me as Mitch McChow. The Republican Party faces a difficult position, having our greatest chance of defeating President Biden, being stuck in a cold New York court. Thankfully, he's had the support of his friends and family.
Nobody's been there.
I'm being told they were not in the room. What about the other one? Trixie? Tracy? Tiffany.
No, she wasn't there.
Well, for all we know, the secret love child he fathered is right there, and he wouldn't even know it. This is just like Steve Jobs used to eat in his father's restaurant. They were both totally unaware that they were father and son. This is indeed true. Mr. Pecker told the court how Dino had a story about this, and Cohen confirmed that Dino and the housekeeper were both on the Trump payroll. So there's a possibility that the boy, or girl, is in the courtroom. I'm curious if they are DNA testing the jury. And I will say, the GOP would be willing to send Lauren Boebert to collect some samples. David Pecker is a friend of Trump, but Trump is worried about Pecker leaking. It all starts with a little drip. They have real trouble. Now, eventually, the testimony got to the centerfold, with Pecker discussed Playboy playmate Karen McDougal's relation with the party of family values presidential choice. Since we're all trying to defend President Trump, I had my assistant bring me the December 1997 issue for me to closely review. After a few grueling days with it, I'm ready to share my findings from the Playmate data sheet. Karen McDougal, also a Mick. Ambitions? I want to model, act, and someday open a learning center for children. We call those schools, sweetheart. Turn-ons, blue eyes, bubble butts. This is actually clarified with rounded glutes. Strawberries and champagne at the tub. Now, the defense is using this as evidence. Her turn-ons do not seem to line up, aside from the possible eye color. Rounded glutes. Even when his turd tank is full, that shape is closer to a sack of baked potatoes. Strawberries and champagne? Well, Trump doesn't do fruit. He's never drank because he gets in the way of the pills. But I'm sure he'd have a bottle or 10 out for your enjoyment and access to a heated tub. Turn-offs. Negativity. Nasty people. People who think they're players. She has literally described Donald Trump here. I really hope the defense has the Playmate data sheet. We should get it to them. And her idea of a perfect date is a candlelit dinner in Paris, then a walk on the beach. Now, my specialty is American, but even I know Paris is very inland. You're looking at 3 hours to the English Channel. which is not very romantic. A date in Paris is closer to a Taken movie. This is crazy. But she continues. At dusk, hot air balloon ride, looking down at the city lights. Then my man tucks me in bed. Well, Trump could fill a balloon with hot air, but are you suggesting that you're going to fly this balloon back to Paris for the city lights, or another 3-hour drive, and then take a balloon? This sounds like an exhausting evening. This man can't make it an hour in court without napping. I don't think this scenario is going to happen. And then my man tucks me in bed. I don't see Trump tucking anything but his 4XL spray tan golf shirts between his clown pants and Depends. Wedge it in there. Tucks me into bed is more like something Matt Gaetz looks for in a dating profile. Now, I'm going to hang on to this bit of research for longer and see if I can come up with anything more for the Trump defense team. In the meanwhile, can I get a bump?
Pecker even recalled Cohen instructing him to not talk over a landline, but to use the messaging app Signal instead because it's encrypted and messages would be destroyed. This is totally normal behavior. Now again, just let me pause and remind you, because this is all pretty huge stuff. This wasn't something said on a talk show or a podcast. It was in a courtroom in front of a jury, and it's all kinds of wow. Pecker told the court how Michael Cohen would pitch them stories about those up against Trump for their nomination, and the Inquirer would embellish them, and Cohen would even review them before publication. This is really wild. I mean, can you imagine him on the phone to Trump saying, yeah, we've got a Rubio love child one and something about Ben Carson leaving a sponge in someone's head. It's going to be a good week. These stories were all cooked up, and they were totally bonkers. But doubt is all you need. I was talking to some parents recently while the kids were playing soccer, and one of the moms said to me, let's go do it in the minivan. That didn't happen, but she did make a ridiculous political claim about a politician caught at customs with a briefcase of money in a foreign country. There's no point in getting into her very vague details, as this never happened and was absolutely a ridiculous thing for her to say. And I noted how I cover a lot of news and that this would be a pretty big story. And she said, well, that's just what I heard. Just saying. You see, her mind was made up. And that's terrifying. And that's what we're facing in this world. Today, Trump doesn't even need the Inquirer. All he has to do is retweet or retruth whatever it is on his stupid social network, a crazy post about someone, and that's it. Well, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's it.
I think everybody has made their own assessment of President Trump's character, and so far as I know, you don't pay someone $130,000 not to have sex with you.
I'm surprised you didn't say that women should be paying Trump not to have sex with them. Take the money, put the mushroom away, get out of here. I do love seeing Mitt go savage on Trump, even when it's subtle. I just wish that he hadn't have folded back in the day. He called Trump out bigger than anyone. And then they met and it was all good. And that was that. YouTube, please stop putting these moronic fake news political channels in my feed. MAGA Tears. You have so much hair. No, you are just a bald snowflake. MAGA Tears. Everything you say is BS. MAGA Tears.
Ambitions. I want to model, act, and someday open a learning center for children. We call those schools, sweetheart. Ambitions. I want to model, act, and someday open a learning center for children. Oh, we call those schools, sweetheart.
Does Jesse think there are only 8 hours in a day? Trump has plenty of time to jog Central Park or hit the gym after the doors crack open and everyone screams for air that doesn't smell like rancid ham, hot diapers, and hair dye. And then the Inquirer would embellish them, and then Cohen would even review them before publication. For the record, it's very late. I've had computer problems, and I've made this video 5 times.
Rounded glutes. Even when his turd tank is full, that shape is closer sack of baked potatoes.
Thanks for watching. Please stick around and check out another one of my videos. Say hello in the comments, find my stand-up on Spotify, streamed by millions, and add me on Facebook and Instagram. It all helps. Be cool, be kind, take care.